Welcome to our webinar on extended producer responsibility, EPR, specific to batteries organized as part of betriber-emwelt. We will spend about 1 hour together. After my brief introduction, Nadine Bertrand from the Environment Agency will outline the legal framework and obligations of battery producer, and Ecobatterien will present the responsibilities and services of an accredited organization. Then you will have the opportunity to ask questions during the Q&A session after the presentation, and you have the possibility to post your question in an anonymous way. You can send your questions during the event using the Q&A tab, and we will answer this during the Q&A session. After the event, you will receive a summary email with a link to the presentation and the recording of the webinar. To start, I would like to tell you a little bit more about betriber-emwelt. Betriber-emwelt, which means companies and environment, is an initiative of the Luxembourg Institute of Science and Technology in partnership with the Ministry of the Environment, Climate and Biodiversity and the Environment Administration. It is a regulatory and environmental information platform for Luxembourg companies. Its objective is to raise awareness and inform companies about regulatory and environmental issues in order to increase their regulatory compliance and to turn different environmental policies and requirements into an opportunity for innovation. To this end, free activities are offered to companies in collaboration with partners. Partners may include administration, professional federations and chambers, as well as institutions. The activities offered are available on the website betriber-emwelt.lu, which is in French. Here, you can see an overview of the website with sections dedicated to the following topics: Komodo regulation, best available techniques, environmental management, deconstruction and resource circularity, chemicals, and the topic of today, extended producer responsibility. Betriber-emwelt offers you concise, simplified information that is accessible to non-experts, tools and guides, events. The latest news is posted online regularly, a thematic newsletter on EPR, and the newsletter is sent out every quarter. You can subscribe to it using this QR code. I invite you to do so to stay up to date with the latest news and upcoming events. Betriber-emwelt is also present on social media, on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you would like to learn more about regulations relating to the environment and chemicals, please subscribe to the Chemicals and Environment Luxembourg channel, which covers the activities of Betriber-emwelt and the REACH and CLP Luxembourg helpdesk. You can find simplified and summarized information on EPR on the Betriber-emwelt website in the Extended Producer Responsibility section, with subsections dedicated to electrical and electronic equipment, packaging, batteries, and tobacco products with filters. Here you can see an overview of what you will find in each subsection, including frequently asked questions, links to regulation, available documentation, tools, useful links and at national and EU level, and contact details. Presentations from events and videos of webinars are available on the website. To find them, simply click on Resources in the top right-hand corner, then Events, go to Archive section and select the year of the event. For example, you will find the webinar organized in January on EPR for non-household or industrial packaging waste and in September on EPR. We have already scheduled 3 webinars on EPR next year, one in January on non-household industrial waste in English, and one in March, and 2 in March on electrical and electronic equipment. Before concluding, I would like to promote a survey conducted as part of an European Trust Tech project to find out your opinion on EPR system for textile. Simply scan the QR code and it will only take 1 minute. Thank you in advance for your support. Finally, you will find here betriber-emwelt contact. And now I give the floor to Nadine Bertrand.
Hello, everybody. I am Nadine Bertrand from the Environment Administration, working on the EPR field in the waste management team. And today I would like to share with you some information about the EPR on batteries. So if we can start the slides, please. So the idea is that I will present to you very shortly what is the EPR principle, because maybe not everybody was present at our webinar in September, where we explained this principle, because it's a bit hard to understand. Afterwards, I will present to you who is concerned about this principle, what is the definition of the batteries producer. And then we'll see shortly which batteries are relevant for this legislation. And then what are your obligations complying to this legislation, and how can you in practice be compliant will be our last word. So first, what is EPR about? Well, to illustrate this, I would like to take a battery's life cycle. And the battery's life cycle starts with the design and the manufacturing of a battery, which will then be placed on the Luxembourgish market, which is a very important step. Then the battery, of course, will be bought by a final consumer, either a private person or a business. And after the battery has been used or cannot be replaced or cannot be used again, it becomes waste. So we have the production of a waste battery, meaning that all the waste management of this battery must take place. And there we find steps that we also have at home, for example, for our own waste. We first have to sort our battery waste. This step is very important. Let us remind that batteries are hazardous waste and so must not go into any other waste stream, but must be separated. Then these battery wastes are collected and transported to be brought to plants that will recycle or preparate for reuse these batteries. And the link with all that is that the step of the recycling is dependent of the quality of the manufacturing of the battery. So does the next step, please. It's the preparation for reuse, where the design and the manufacturing of the battery has also a strong influence. So on the next slide, we can conclude that this extended producer responsibility for batteries is, next slide, please, Thank you. It is really highly dependent from the choices that the battery manufacturer will make. Whether the battery can be replaced or not, whether it is rechargeable or not, whether the recycling can be of high quality or not. These are all elements that depend exclusively on the battery's manufacturer. And that is exactly the principle of the EPR, meaning the responsibility of the battery producer on the end of life of the batteries. And this principle is laid down in an EU regulation now, where you have the reference here down above. So who is concerned by EPR? Are you concerned or not? First thing to understand is that for us national authorities, it is fundamental that we have, as much as possible, actors being present in Luxembourg, because it is more difficult, not impossible, but more difficult for us to intervene when an actor is not compliant outside of Luxembourg. So we define this actor as being the battery producer, and the battery producer can be three different actors. The first case is very simple. If you are a battery manufacturer, meaning you manufacture your own batteries under your own brand, or you have them manufactured under your own brand, and you are located in Luxembourg, then next step, when you place these batteries on the market, either to the final consumer or to the supply chains of distributors, for example, then you are what we call the battery producers. This case is very seldom. In fact, the mostly used case in Luxembourg for this definition is the definition of the importer of batteries, because that's the case that happens most of the time. The importer of batteries is the one that, not that fast, please, that imports batteries outside from Luxembourg and is the first actor in Luxembourg to receive physically these batteries. And then the importer places them on the Luxembourgish market. So in this case, then he is the he is the producer of the batteries. And then we can illustrate the third case, which is the actor being outside of Luxembourg without any intermediate. If you are in the situation of placing batteries on the market in Luxembourg and you are located outside of Luxembourg and you are selling them directly to the consumers, then you are the battery producers in consumer. And then you must have an authorized representative. That's the point I will explain it at the end. So just to understand that, a last point on the previous slide is, it is important to know that the batteries can also be included in vehicles or in equipment. This also are cases where you become a batteries producer. That is very important. It's not only for naked batteries. So let's see now which batteries are relevant for this legislation. Well, the answer is very simple: all batteries. Now the batteries are split into 5 categories. So we usually know at home, for example, the portable batteries. We have a second category for all the e-bikes and so on, which is the LMT batteries. The third category, we know them already, it's the SLI batteries, the lead batteries. Then we have the industrial batteries, and to finish, the batteries for electric and hybrid vehicles, which are specific. So now, which are your obligations if you are a batteries producer in Luxembourg? Even if you are only an importer and not the manufacturer we have seen just before, then you are the batteries producer. First step is to register at the Environment Administration. I can assure you this step is done almost automatically when you comply, so don't worry about that step. It will be done anyway when you comply. So the next obligation is a bit more difficult and a bit more work to do. It is setting up a whole management system for the waste batteries that you must take in charge. So that means setting up collection systems, the transport, and the recovery, meaning recycling or preparation for reuse of these batteries. You have to set that all in place. Third obligation is the financing of all these steps. It belongs to you to pay for this. Even if I bring back, for example, my batteries in a store, which I'm allowed to do as a consumer, it's up to you to pay for this. So next step is you have some recycling rates and collection rates to undergo. For example, we have a collection rate for portable batteries from 45% to reach, and so you have to reach these goals regularly. Next obligation is awareness raising for consumers and also for waste management operators, and also the marking on the batteries. There is now a lot more obligations on that awareness raising field. And then last, but surely not least, you have to make an annual report to us, Environment Administration, every year, so that we can see what you have done, how much you have recycled, how much have you collected, and so that we can calculate the collection and recycling rates. So next slide. Now, in the practice, now if you have understood that you are indeed a producer of batteries in Luxembourg, what must you do? Well, that depends on the kind of battery that you put on the market. If you place portable LMT or SLI batteries on the Luxembourgish market, then in fact you have no choice. You must become a member of a producer responsibility organization. This organization has been set up by producers of batteries, and their exclusive job is to take over all the responsibilities, all the obligations that I just listed before. So that is an easier step for you. And in Luxembourg, we have such a producer responsibility organizations, which is Ecobatterie, which will speak right after me. If you are placing on the market industrial or electric vehicles batteries, then you have a choice. But this choice is in fact, either going into a collection, into a collective system, meaning that you become a member of the producer responsibility organization, in this case, Ecobatterien, or you have the choice to say, I do it all on myself. I don't want to be a member of a producer responsibility organization. And then I must become an individual ministerial approval. So this approval must be asked for at our environment administration. And you have a link for our email address to have all information about it. So you must be aware that if you choose that way, if you want to set up an individual system, you must take over all of the obligations that I just listed before. So just to finish the last slide, please, with some more informations. If a producer of batteries is based outside of Luxembourg, is not a member of Ecobatterien, and places directly for consumers batteries in Luxembourg, then he must have what we call an authorized representative in Luxembourg. This authorized representative for the EPR will take over all his obligations that we listed just before. What you also must know, and what we know in practice when we are consumers, is that every batteries distributor also have a legal obligation, and that is to freely take back your waste batteries, as long as they are not in an equipment. So that's a good news for us consumers, but for you as a producer, it's important that you get to include these actors into your collection system. And this means also that it can be that some of you come into this situation where you are simultaneously a batteries producer and a batteries distributor. In that case, you must, of course, comply with the obligations of both of these actors. So on the last slide, you will see our contact. We are going to set up a guide that we will make available on, we try to make it for February next year. And of course, in the meanwhile, we remain at your service. So don't hesitate to ask questions, or if you want an individual approval, to ask it in our administration. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Nadine, for this clear presentation. So now we will look at Ecobatterien to see what the responsibilities and services of an accredited body are. So I give the floor to Alessio for this presentation.
Thank you. So my name is Alessio. I am the operations manager of Ecobatterien, Ecotrol and Ecoauto, but today we only talk about the batteries, so only about Ecobatterien. My colleague Margarita cannot make the presentation today, but she will be always your contact person at Ecobatterien. So to make a quick review about the history of the legal framework, Nadine already explained it very well in detail, so I will not go more in the details. The only thing we can say is that it didn't come out of the blue, this regulation of 2023, but it has a whole history. It started in 2006, and yeah, that's why we came to that regulation today. So I will not go much into details in the legal framework. I will only explain what we have taken in place to make this regulation in Luxembourg. So as Nadine said, we have five frameworks, five categories of batteries: the portable batteries, the LMT batteries, and the SLI batteries, the industrial batteries, and the electric vehicle batteries. And now we don't talk anymore about accumulators, but only about batteries. So I will go in little detail about the notion of producer, because it can be a little confusing for some of you. So a producer is not only the one who produces the battery, but that is any manufacturer, importer, distributor, or any other person who place batteries on the market or in equipment containing batteries on the Luxembourgian market for the first time, regardless of the sale techniques that companies use, including distance contracts like marketplace, for example. All all those companies are defined as producer. So we, Ecobatterien, our PRO, Producer Responsibility Organization, created in 2009 by Ecobatterien ASBL. So that's the PRO for the waste of equipment of electronical equipment, the Luxembourg Confederation, the Federation of Artisans, and the FEDIL. So we are approved by the Ministry of Environment, and we are taking all the legal obligation of battery producer in accordance with those that EPR. So we have actually above 1,000 members in our organization, and our mission, most important mission, is to organize the collection and the treatment of the waste generated from the batteries. So some key figures from last year: producers in Luxembourg placed 30 million batteries on the Luxembourg markets, and we collected 193,000 kilogram portable batteries and more than 2 million lead acid starter batteries in Luxembourg. So the founding of Ecobatterien, how does it work? You have on the when you buy a battery, you have a recycling fee which is included in the sale price of the battery when they are placed on the market in Luxembourg. So, and those fees are used afterwards to fund the collection and the treatment of batteries that when the consumer wants to dispose them in a collection point. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So for the collection, how does it work in Luxembourg? There are 3 take-backs for the batteries. The first is in this sorting center in Colmabierge, so the Superdreckskirch. We have the authorized resource centers. You have the vier betriber collection by the SDK, also the Superdreckskirch mobile Sammlung, and the authorized collectors who also collect the batteries in Luxembourg. So as also Nadine explained before, the producer has also the responsibility, the information obligation. That's Article 74, who talks about that. So concretely, what does it talk about? As a producer, you have the responsibility to inform the consumer about how the battery are managed, or the waste of battery are managed in Luxembourg. So there are a lot of different obligations in that article, and we as Ecobatterien, you can go to the next slide if you want. Thank you. We as Ecobatterien made a practical guide to batteries who explain exactly how everything works, the collection and the recycling of batteries. The Article 74 asks the producers to make that guide, or a guide at least, visible at least at any point of sale, as well as also as on online platforms. So you are not, so the producer are not obliged to use our practical guides. So this from Ecobatterien, they can use their own if you want to make their own. It's not a problem, but they have that obligation to make such a practical guide. So you can use the one from Ecobatterien for free, of course. You can whether download it in a PDF format on our website, or you can also order it for if you want a printed version via the form that you can also find on our website. So these practical guides is available in French, in English, and in German. As you saw on the practical guide, you have on the bottom right a little QR code where sends you on our website, where you find all the other information you need to know about, or the end consumer needs to know about the collection and the recycling and all the other points that the regulation asks for information about the waste of batteries. We wanted to make that to not have too much information on that practical guide, because as everyone knows, if there's too much information on the piece of paper, no one's read it. So that's why you wanted to make as least information as only make the needed information on the guides, and to have a website who is dedicated to explain how everything works. So the Article 774 also asks that the producer must separately inform the end user at the point of sale of a new battery of the costs they cover, including the collection and the treatment of the waste of batteries, as well as the reporting to the authorities. So in that way, Ecobatterien also has prepared a poster about the recycling and the administrative fee for 2025, who you can also download on our website if you want. And if you want the printed version, you can also order them with the order form you can also find on our website. This recycling and administrative fees are also available in French, in English, and in German. So you can see where to find it. If you go on Ecobatterien.lu, and you see on the right side under professional, you find the documents to download. And when you click on documents to download, you find every document you need to order or download recycling fees or the practical guides for the batteries. So an important, quick but important point about the batteries, the waste of industrial batteries and the batteries for electrical vehicles. The producer of those type of batteries have to ensure that take back from a few different collection points who are listed here. So first of all, to the customers, to the distributors, to the operators who are carrying the remanufacturing and repurposing of batteries, the waste treatment facilities for electrical and electronic equipment, and the waste treatment facilities for end-of-life vehicles, and also at the public authorities or third parties managing the waste on their behalf. So all those collection points the producer have to ensure the take back from the industrial batteries, waste of industrial batteries and waste of batteries of electric vehicles. So Ecobatterien is only involved in the last 4 collection points, so from the operators to the public authorities. So we leave the producer of industrial batteries and electric vehicle or hybrid vehicle battery the possibility to manage their waste on their own for their customers and for their distributors, because the whole system was already in place before we started to take that kind of collection responsibility, and we didn't want it to change everything when the system was already in place. That's why we do not take back on those 2 collection points. So to see it a little better, you see here on the schema that for the customers and the distributors, the producer has to take back the batteries and to ensure to take back of the batteries. For the 4 others collection points, Ecobatterien used what we call a mutualized fee for the financing of the collection and the recycling of those 2 types of batteries at those collection points. So what are mutualized fee? That's what we explain on the next slide. So the mutualized fee will take action in 2026, the 1st of January. So for the type of batteries we talked just before, the amount is of €6 for electric and electrical vehicles for that mutualized fee. And for the industrial batteries, we already had only an administrative fee, but now it becomes also a mutualized fee, and it is also maintained at €5 for that fee. So that's for the cost. And concretely how it works, we have now only 2 types of fees: an all-in fee for portable batteries and LMT batteries and SLI batteries. What is in this all-in fee? We are talking about reporting to the authorities and the collection and treatment of all this type of batteries. For the 2 other category, we have a mutualized fee, who includes also the reporting to the authorities and also the collection and treatment of waste of batteries, but only at the 4 collection points that I explained to you just earlier, not on the other one. That's why it's called a mutualized fee. So you can move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So we also have a new organization of the categories and fees from the 1st January of next year. We have now, concretely, it's still almost the same, yeah, but a few changes, but the structure of the declaration of the categories are still the same. So we have now 2 new subcategories. So we distinguish rechargeable batteries from non-rechargeable batteries with 2 different fees. And we had to create also, because it is a new category, a specific category for the LMT batteries, so the light mean of transport. So we're talking about, as you know, e-bikes, scooters, hoverboards, etc. So we also have new weight threshold for portable batteries. They have to be under or equal to 5 kilo. Industrial batteries have to be above 5 kilo to go into that category. And the LMT batteries have to be also under or equal to 25 kilo. So of course, if you have any questions about it or what responsibility exactly is, you can contact our team or directly Margarita, who also goes take an appointment with you to explain exactly how it works and how you can be a member of our organization if you are not already one. So that was for me. Thank you for the listening.
Thank you very much, Alessio, for your presentation. It's time now to close this event. So thank you to the Environmental Agency and Ecobatterien for enlightening our participants on batteries EPR. So as I said several times, if you have any question, please don't hesitate to contact me and our speakers. So thank you for your participation and see you soon. Have a nice day.